I just want to touch on this person. You have a two-part I am, and the first part is disturbing. The second part is funny, but let's do the disturbing part first. Ignatius Riley, not sure if you all saw this, but the Trump administration has banned the CDC from using 7 terms. I'm going to read now from a story covering this in Washington Post. Multiple divisions of the Health and Human Services were advised to avoid using certain words on official documents, including quote-unquote transgender, fetus, and science-based. Officials at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which is part of the Health and Human Services, were given a list of 7 prohibited words or phrases during a meeting Thursday with senior CDC officials who oversee the budgets. The words to avoid: vulnerable, entitlement, diversity, transgender, evidence-based, and science-based. A second Health and Human Services agency received similar guidance to avoid using entitlement, diversity, and vulnerable, according to an official who took part in a briefing earlier this week. And State Department, meanwhile, certain documents now refer to sex education as sex risk avoidance. I mean, look, there isn't much to elaborate on. This is just the official sort of bureaucratization of abusing and repressing the rights of transgender people, and essentially easing up on creating infrastructure in high school and colleges so that kids aren't bullied and terrified and people don't face violence. And you can also indirectly loop this back to like, okay, there was one conversation that everybody's so obsessed with about trigger warnings in college and blah, 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 blah. And again, I mean, I guess if you want to watch some video about how out of control PC students are at Oberlin, and that's the sort of thing that keeps you up at night, I don't know what to tell you.
It says more about certain insecurities you have, I think.
I would imagine.
At the foreground of your focus.
I would imagine so. I agree and totally accept Angela Nagel's critique of a certain type of left performative politics online, which is bad branding and very performative and not coalition building or emotionally intelligent. But all this, which is to say that this is the actual meat of a policy, and the actual heart of these policy disputes does not come down to some supposed rampant inability to read books or something that people find offensive, which is still happening every day on college campuses across America. It goes to putting in place certain safeguards so, as an example, transgender students aren't physically assaulted. And this administration is taking very concrete steps, including these language changes, to make sure that national policy is not behind protecting people from violence. And that's what it is. And that, by the way, is real social engineering and serious political intervention in a quote-unquote objective scientific process.
Like perhaps an analysis of these sort of issues might have some sensitivity to how close the people are to the levers of power, for instance.
Right. Exactly. Ignatius Riley, the 7 terms are diversity, fetus, transgender, vulnerable, entitlement, science-based, and evidence-based. Now, there are alternative terms available, and I'm hoping that right-wing Mandela could read them on air. Let me go through these. Okay, this could be kind of funny. Vulnerable should be substituted with loafer or lazy. Entitlement, handout, diversity, Democrat, transgender, part of Satan's plan, fetus, future Republican, evidence-based, contrary to how I feel, science-based, not in Bible. Yeah, those all actually sound like they would work.
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos